His days were all the same, a blur of screens, notifications, and endless scrolling. He'd wake up, grab his phone, and before he knew it, hours had vanished. Lunchtime would come and go, spent watching short videos, the sun would set, and he'd still be there, bathed in the blue light, telling himself the same old lie. I'll be productive tomorrow. I'll start fresh tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. It was always just another today, another day lost to the digital void. He wasn't lazy. He had dreams, big ones. He wanted to learn an instrument, get in shape, maybe even start his own business. But those dreams felt distant, like they belonged to someone else. His reality was his phone. It was his comfort, his companion, his escape, but it was also his prison. He felt trapped, knowing he was wasting his potential, but feeling powerless to stop. The cycle was vicious. The more he scrolled, the less motivated he felt. The less he accomplished, the more he needed the distraction of his phone to numb the feeling of failure. It was a downward spiral, and he was spinning faster every day. One evening, something different happened. A weekly report popped up on his screen. Screen time, an average of 9 hours per day. 9 hours. He did the math in his head. That's more than a full-time job. Over 60 hours a week, nearly 3,000 hours a year. He felt a cold dread wash over him. He wasn't just wasting time. He was actively giving his life away, minute by minute, to an algorithm designed to keep him hooked. He thought about all the things he could have done with those hours. The books he could have read, the skills he could have learned, the relationships he could have nurtured. The realization hit him like a physical blow. He wasn't living, he was just existing. That was the wake-up call. Not a gentle nudge, but a blaring alarm he couldn't ignore. He knew tomorrow had to be now. With a deep breath and a sense of both fear and determination, he did the most uncomfortable thing he could imagine. He deleted the apps, all of them. The social media, the video platforms, the endless news feeds. He logged out and turned off notifications for everything else. Ispan, once a vibrant portal to a million distractions, became a simple tool for calls and texts. The silence was deafening. The first few days were brutal. He felt a constant, nagging urge to check his phone. His thumb would twitch, reaching for an icon that wasn't there anymore. He was bored. Terribly, painfully bored. He didn't know what to do with himself. The quiet moments felt empty, and his mind, so used to constant stimulation, raced with anxiety. This, he later learned, was withdrawal. His brain was screaming for the dopamine hits it had grown dependent on. It was a battle, and there were moments he almost gave in, almost re-downloaded just one app to quiet the noise in his head. But he held on, and slowly, something began to shift. The boredom didn't disappear, but it transformed. It became space. Space to think. Space to feel. Instead of reaching for his phone, he picked up an old, dusty guitar in the corner of his room. His fingers were clumsy at first, but he found a few chords online using his laptop for a set purpose. And then he practiced. He started going for walks, without headphones, just listening to the sounds of his neighborhood. He rediscovered the simple pleasure of a quiet morning with a cup of coffee and a real book. Clarity started to emerge from the fog. He realized his phone addiction wasn't the root problem. It was a symptom. He was using it to run away from the discomfort of building a life he was actually proud of. It was easier to watch someone else's highlight reel than to create his own. With this newfound clarity came a surge of purpose. He started working out. Just small, simple exercises at home. He felt his energy levels rise. He started journaling, pouring out all the thoughts and ideas that had been buried under layers of digital noise. His old dreams didn't feel so distant anymore. They felt possible. He reconnected with friends, in person. He had real conversations, without the distraction of a phone buzzing on the table. He was present. He was engaged. He was finally living in the real world, not a digital imitation of it. His life didn't transform overnight into a movie montage of success. It was a slow, deliberate process of building better habits, one day at a time. Some days were harder than others, but he never went back to his old ways. He had tasted real life, and the artificial flavor of endless scrolling could no longer satisfy him. This isn't just a story about quitting your phone. It's a story about waking up. It's about realizing that your time and your attention are your most valuable resources. He didn't just get his time back. He got his life back. He took control of his focus and pointed it toward what truly mattered. He proved that it's never too late to log off, look up, and start building a life you don't need to escape from. If his story resonates with you, maybe it's time for your own wake-up call. What could you accomplish if you reclaimed your time? Thanks for watching, and if you found this inspiring, consider subscribing for more stories about taking back control.